Chairman, first let me just thank the Rules Committee, Chairman Mr. Sessions, and our ranking member Slaughter, and all of the members of the committee for making this amendment in order. My amendment is very straightforward. It would, after days of enactment of this act, repeal the 2001 authorization to use military force, which Congress passed into law September 14, 2001. And when we repeal this 2001 authorization to use military force, Congress would finally be forced to debate and vote on a specific AUMF to address the ISIL threat. Now, I voted against the 2001 authorization because I believed it opened the door for any president to wage endless war without a congressional debate or a vote. And I believe, quite frankly, that history has borne that out. In fact, I have a new report from the Congressional Research Service, and I would like to ask, Mr. Chairman, unanimous consent to insert it into the record.
General Coverage, question covered by General Lee.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, because I want to encourage all of my colleagues to read this report, and it shows that this authorization has, in fact, become that blank check for war. In the more than 14 years since this passage, it has been used 37 times in 14 countries to wage war with little or no congressional oversight. It's been used 18 times by President Bush and 19 times by President Obama. And this report only looks at unclassified incidents. How many other times has it been used without the knowledge of Congress or the American people? Not only has this authorization been used to justify military action thousands of miles away, it's also been used much closer to home to allow warrantless surveillance and wiretaps, indefinite detention practices at Gitmo, and targeted killing by drones, including of American citizens. And it's also been cited as the authority for the nearly 2-year-long war against ISIL, a war that Congress has never debated, voted on, or specifically authorized. Mr. Chairman, our brave servicemen and women to be deployed around the world. They're in combat zones, whether they're combat troops or not. They're in combat zones. They're risking their lives. Don't we at least owe them our representation in terms of our job to debate and vote on the cost and consequences of the war? I think we owe them that. If we all agree that ISIL must be degraded and dismantled, then why is Congress missing in action? Every day more bombs fall. We've already lost 3 brave servicemen. We've already spent more than $9.6 billion, and we spend an additional $615,000 per hour. I know that while we may not share a common position on what the shape of any new AUMF to address ISIL might look like, I know that many of us do agree that the overly broad and almost 15 years old AUMF represents a major and very concerning deterioration of congressional oversight. What that means, the lack of the involvement and input and voice of the American people. Let's repeal this blank check and finally, 90 days later, debate and vote on an AUMF to address the ISIL threat. Mr. Chairman, I'd like to reserve the balance of my time.